All right, so for adding mixed fractions, we have kind of two different processes that we can do. So for example, let's say 3 2/3 plus 1 4/5. Okay, so notice right away our denominators are not the same, they're unlike. Okay, which means that we need to get a common denominator. Okay, so that's going to tell us one thing right away that we need to do. However, there's two ways we could actually solve this equation. One is we could add up the whole numbers on their own, and then we could add up the fractions. All right, so in order to do that, we would go, okay, we're going to go 3 plus 1, and we're going to go 2/3 plus 4/5. So basically, I separated out the whole numbers. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then I separated out the fractions, 2/3 plus 4/5. And now to be able to solve these fractions, I have to make a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 5 and 5 by 3. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Don't forget that piece. So I end up getting 10 over 15 plus 12 over 15. And now notice that the bottoms are the same, so now we can just add up the tops. 10 plus 12 is 22 over 15. Okay, great. So now, what we actually have to do is we have to convert this. You notice it's an improper fraction where the top or the bottom, the top is bigger than the bottom. So we have to convert 22 over 15 to a mixed fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how many times does 15 fit into 22, or what's 22 divided by 15? Well, that's going to be 1 and a little bit. Okay, so we've got 1 being our whole number, that's for sure. But 15 one time is 15. I need 22. So what am I missing to get to 22? Well, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'm missing 7 more pieces out of 15. Okay, so now what we have to do is we're going to take, we've got 4 wholes that we've already calculated, and then we have another whole, that's 4 and 1, which gives us 5 in total. 4 plus 1 is 5, and then we have 7/15 left over, and that would be our final answer. Now, the final step, though, which we don't have to do for this question, is that we would actually have to simplify this fraction. All right, because we can't divide the top and the bottom by the same number, this is our final answer. Okay? But that's just one way to do it. Now, the second method is probably the method that's going to be more similar to subtraction, is we have to change both to improper fractions. All right, so we've got 3 2/3. And we have 1 4/5. And we're going to convert them both to improper fractions. So we multiply 3 times 3, which is 9, and then we add the top, so that gives us 11. Denominator, bottom number stays the same. 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 plus 4 is 9. Denominator stays the same. So now what we actually end up getting is 11 over 3 plus 9 over 5. And now notice, we need a common denominator here. Okay, we need the 3 and the 5 to be the same number. So we're going to go 3 times 5 and 5 times 3. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So now we have 55 over 15 plus 27 over 15. And now because our denominators are the same, all we have to do is we have to add up the tops. So we get 82 over 15. Now we're not quite done. Now we have to convert this back to a mixed fraction. All right, so I go, okay, well, how many times does 15 fit into 82? Well, I can't think of that off the top of my head. So I'm going to go 82 divided by 15, and I'm going to see what number I get. All right, so if I have my calculator, 82 divided by 15 gives me 5.46, repeat it. Now, we don't actually care about this decimal part. We just care about the whole number. That tells us that for sure, 15 fits into 82 5 times. All right, But what is 15 5 times? Well, 15 5 times is 75. Okay, but we need 82. So how many are we missing from 75 to get to 82? Well, we're missing 7. And then that denominator, that bottom number, stays the same as it was on our improper fraction. And now if you notice, this answer is the same as the answer we got up here. It was just a different way of getting it. Now, while this first method sometimes can be a lot easier, this second method is actually a very important one to know, because this is the method that we have to use when we're subtracting mixed fractions. So for adding, we have two options, but when we're subtracting, we actually we must use the second option. All right, so we want to make sure that you know how to do both.